We've already seen on the show, Nick, that there's any number of ways you can enjoy state forests. You can recreate, you can fish, you can take your dog, all free of charge.
That's exactly right, Hardy. And there is a network of over 6,000 kilometres of state forest roads in Tasmania. The one thing to bear in mind that they are working roads, and there is every chance, Hardy, that you might run into one of these.
Hopefully not run into.
No.
No. Every year, thousands of interstate and overseas tourists take to Tasmania's forestry road network to get off the beaten track. The only problem is that sometimes they're unprepared for what may be coming around the next corner.
Plenty of visitors to Tasmania want to get out into our forested areas, into our wilderness natural areas, because that's where a lot of the state's beauty is. Unfortunately, a lot of visitors, particularly if they're from major cities, won't have driven in forests and may never have driven on gravel roads. So they won't be used to the conditions, they certainly won't know the roads, and they will possibly have never come across roads where they have to share them with heavy vehicles like log trucks.
Part of the newly revised Forestry and Tourism Industry Protocol is aiming to help educate drivers on safely using the State Forest Road network.
It's a case of trying to manage the interaction between log trucks and tourist vehicles and recreational users as well. And I think that of all the initiatives in the tourism protocol, it's the one that's most self-satisfying for me, because at the end of the day, it can have a real impact on preventing accidents and, in a worst case scenario, even fatalities.
Robert Jones has been driving log trucks for the best part of 30 years, with the great majority of that time spent on forestry back roads.
90% of our work is all off-highway work for the small truck, and not only for small trucks, big trucks too. It's even worse for bigger trucks, with B-doubles. They've got to have a lot more room for the longer trailers.
There are enough obstacles on these narrow winding roads without having to cope with speeding cars on the wrong side of the road.
Piece here we can see you've got here. Going under an overpass here, so therefore, if you meet a car here, you've got nowhere to go.
We have some choices here. We can either say that those are forestry roads and only log trucks can go on them and ban everybody else, which is not good for the tourism industry. It's certainly not good for Tasmanians who enjoy state forest for recreation. And, so the important thing here is to try to get those two things to interact well in a safe way. And so you'll see with the sign behind me that it's important that tourists understand that they're driving on forestry roads, that you've got to keep left and you've got to go slow, because the trucks that they're likely to meet don't have the same manoeuvrability that they do.
Forestry Tasmania has been busy installing new signs on forestry roads, reminding users that they're sharing the access with some pretty serious vehicles. The message is a simple one.
Get to the left, slow down, make sure that you can be seen, make sure that you can stop in the distance that you can see within, and that might mean that you'll need to be making sure that you're looking up across corners rather than watching the front of the bonnet of the car.
Along with safe driving on forestry roads, the Tourism Protocol aims to provide a framework for helping the two industries better coexist, with strategies for dealing with issues like the timing of regen burns and the sightlines created by harvesting operations.
Our two industries want to work together. We know we're both important parts of the Tasmanian economy, and we can coexist, but we just need to have a mechanism, if you like, to deal with some of the issues where potentially we could come into conflict.
So the message is clear. Feel free to enjoy our state forests. If you're driving, slow down and keep left. Remember, it takes a log truck a long time to stop, and sometimes they physically can't get out of your way.
So by all means, get out and explore Tassie's state forests. Just remember that the roads are there to provide access for everyone. But if you follow our tips, you won't go wrong.